me, and welcome to episode 46 of The Weekly Whisper. I'm your host, Elian Habanero, and I'm here to talk all things 365 Pro Wrestling, and I'm also here to talk all things with my special guest, who's making his way in soon at a foxtrot or a horse trot. This racing horse doesn't know how to run very fast, but we got the special man, Tex Lexus, coming in here. He made it. He's isolated after 14 days, and now you see what I mean as far as the horse goes.
How you doing, Elian?
I'm doing good. I got a horseshoe up my butt, apparently, to have Tex Lexus as a guest on this episode. I'm feeling pretty lucky.
Oh, man. You know, I don't get out much. I can only find this mask in the house, so it's the only one I could wear, but I can't breathe in the damn thing. Whew.
What is happening right now?
All right. Okay, welcome to the Weekly Whisper. I'm your host, Tex Lexus. With me today is Elian Habanero, and, well, let's get this thing going. How you doing, Elian?
I'm doing great, and this is far from a whisper. This is like the weekly megaphone yell. But Tex did his isolation. He found out he's under contract. If you've seen the teaser video, he's coming in. He's coming in hot here.
Hang on. Yeah, that's enough. You guys paid me enough. Good, thank you. Thank you.
I have nothing to do with the payments, and I think I deserve a raise even myself. And Tex, we're lucky to have you on here. I know there's not a lot going on out in this part of wrestling. I know you're worldwide, but for wrestling, you've always been in Ontario. And I know there's not a lot going on, but I just wanted to touch base with you, have you on the show, talk about whatever we could as far as your life and as far as what you see for wrestling in the future, and see if you follow 365 still. Does that sound alright? Or?
Yeah, sure, Elian. I'm bored as hell at home doing nothing, so yeah, it's great to be here.
Yes. And obviously we're lucky to have you. We haven't had a guest in a while. We had Paul on a couple weeks back there, but Paul is like more of a statistician. He's not an over-the-top character like Tex is here. No, I mean that in a good way, of course.
Well,
right?
yeah, I know I'm a bit over the top, but somebody's got to be, right?
Yeah, the Temple, and I still see you are, well, I guess it's Jacob on social media. You're still very active, still spreading the word of the Temple out there, right?
Yep. I mean, Jacob, very busy with the company, but he always takes time to do a little bit of social media stuff for the Temple, and yeah, he's a creative kid. You know, sometimes it comes off a little flat, but sometimes I laugh pretty hard too. So, yeah, I mean, Jacob, he's out in the car right now. He's just waiting. We didn't want him leaving the car by himself, not in this neighborhood. So, you know, he's guarding the car right now.
It makes sense. It makes sense. You don't want the hubcaps missing or whatever. I get it. Texas, there's a little bit of a difference financially here between the rich and the poor and stuff like that. But yeah, so I see that you're keeping the word active, so which makes me think that you don't plan on being done with wrestling in your future.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm hoping wrestling comes back really quick. Because I'm following what's happening in BC, and you know, there's some really great things happening out there, some great talent. Had some talent going from Ontario over there, speaking of Clay Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, man, you know, the Adrenaline show is really good, and I just can't wait for Ontario to open up a little bit more. We can have a few more shows. Because, I mean, right before the pandemic hit and everything shut down, the Temple was the hottest thing in Ontario. I mean, there was promoters calling me from all over, from Ottawa all the way down to Windsor, telling me, Tex, we want the Temple, we're going to pay top dollar, we want them on our show. And hey, man, we were ready to rock and roll, but everything shut down. Couldn't have any shows, so we're waiting, and I'm waiting hard for this one.
Yeah, man, you guys were definitely on a roll, and I feel bad for you guys that when your momentum was at its peak there, that it got cut short. But you know, that's just the way the horseshoes fall off, I guess. Here, I don't know, but so
it's funny you mention that. When I was outside with the mask on, some kids rode by on their bicycles, and they were calling me BoJack Horseman. And I'm like, geez, yes, man, it's only 12 o'clock. I ain't that drunk yet. But, yeah, it was a pretty funny reference, so good on you, kids.
Yeah, and they wanted to ride you bareback with no saddle, but Tex isn't down for that. He is not playing with the kids. He's above that.
Come on, man. Come on, Elian. It's a family show. It's a family show.
Yeah, well, I mean, you weren't wearing a saddle. So, anyway, you're such a smart businessman. You've always got your hands in a lot of financial endeavors and whatnot like that. Do you see... do you have any predictions as far as when we can see wrestling out this way again that you would see?
Well, the scientists that I've been talking to, you know, a lot of them I know from my Harvard days, and they were saying that the vaccines, they're being tested by certain companies. They're in kind of their third final stages, whatever they do. I don't really know the science behind it too much, but hopefully it's going to be soon. Hopefully it's by the end of the year, maybe into January, February. Fingers crossed. So, let's hope my scientist friends are right about this one.
And I feel like from what I've seen is that we were getting closer and closer, and then now just recently in the last couple of weeks it's kind of gone down again. Like it's kind of feel like it's going to be delayed once again. And do you think that wrestling's ever really going to be the same, where we can have packed crowds again, or this is like a 2-3 year thing maybe?
Yeah, you know what? I hope so. I think that legally they're going to say, yeah, sure, open it up, but the perception from the public might be like, I don't want to be around people too much because bad things can happen. I think you just kind of have to trust the science behind it, and if there is a vaccine and if you can get safe with it, then sure, come on out to the shows, because I don't think it's going to be any different than when you're in a packed house and there's people with colds or people with the flu and you got snot-nosed kids running around everywhere. People are going to get sick too. So there's a bit of give and take, but I don't know. I think it's the perception. It's the I don't know what's out there now. So it's yeah, I'm hoping it is back to normal though, because we got some hot crowds out here in Ontario.
Yeah, there's people itching to get out of the house, and then there's people that are scared, and it's like kind of in between, depending where you lie, and both people aren't wrong for having their opinions, right? And like with this break in wrestling, have you been able to do any reminiscing on what you've done up to this point in your wrestling endeavors?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like I was saying, Jacob Joker, whatever his name is, Jacob likes to go through the social media stuff, and he always reminds me of old past things that happened. Likes to humble me a little bit with all the times I got my butt kicked and kicked in the face, punched in the face, whatever. But I like to go back and watch some of the old stuff. The time when I was commissioner, I thought that was really fun, and even before that, when I was managing the Modern Day Warriors, when I was brand new to the PWA, wow, man, things went from down here for me to through the roof in no time, and yeah, so it's great to look back on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like we're obviously past this now. I'm just the media guy, but we had a couple entanglements there. But I still always had respect for you, because whether you were my opponent or like managing my opponents, you always had a good game plan, and you made it tough for me. So I always respected you that way. But I can definitely see greatness when I see it, and so I give it up to you that you've had a great run so far. And so, like, what they've been doing, speaking of Ontario, is every Thursday they've been having, like, an Ontario special where they'll pick someone from out this way, and they'll go through, like, the library that's available on the YouTube and do, like, a top 5 thing. Would you ever consider doing that?
A top 5 for myself?
Yeah, like, last week it was Joey Allen. He picked top 5 matches, and then he just gave it each one, like, a 1-minute intro talking about why he picked it. So maybe, like, a top 5 Tex moments. Would you ever
absolutely.
consider?
I mean, during the beginning of this pandemic, I did the 10 days of Tex on the social medias, and I came up with a whole bunch of things, and honestly, I was looking at it, and I could have done 20 more. So, I mean, to do a top 5 on the 365 channel, sure. I mean, I'll do that.
Yeah. And of course, every Wednesday they do, you said you were checking out Adrenaline a bit, they got the next episode coming out, which will feature the street fight for the grand champion between Brett Matthews and Jordy Taylor, so keep your eye on that. And we got a couple other announcements, but it's so nice to have a guest that I can interview. And Tex, like, really, as far as wrestling goes, like, if it doesn't come back anytime in Ontario, will you ever look at other options, like perhaps BC or somewhere else? Because I know some of the states as well, and I believe you have, I don't know, citizenship, but you're allowed to travel if you want.
I have a private jet, so basically it tells me I can go anywhere I want. Cops can't do nothing. Yeah, I would like Ontario to open up again, because, I find that I came in here fresh, and I think that I was building something pretty good, so I'd like to do that. But, maybe I go out to BC. I do have other business ventures that I need to look at, right? So I can't just move all over the place where I want to. I got a lot of ties in Arizona, Texas, Oklahoma, maybe even Missouri. Not Missouri, but Missouri. I could head into there, maybe into the Carolinas, north and south, of course. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe I won't. If wrestling doesn't open up around here, maybe I'll do something else. I mean, I got some friends in the acting in Hollywood and all that stuff, so I might get into a Netflix show or something.
Oh,
why not? I mean, a face like this worth $1 million. Doesn't have to stay in the wrestling business, right?
Yeah, and you're very well spoken, and you've always been someone that people find entertaining, or in a good way or a bad way, as far as like, because you're a smart guy, but you're also you're a loud guy as well. I'll have to admit you're a little loud, but like people enjoy seeing you. Every time I see you on a video, or like I remember interviewed on my old YouTube show, you always get a lot of views. So like you're definitely in demand. So it'd be nice to see you branch out and do anything else that you want to do. Because Tex Lexus, whether he's involved in wrestling, I feel Tex is money.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
right.
I mean, I've already been approached to play the role of Ryan Reynolds in the Notebook remake.
Oh.
So, you know, who knows? That might come to fruition. But you know, like I said, I got to keep my options open.
I thought it was Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling, Ryan Reynolds, it's all the same guy, isn't it?
I don't know. I thought it was the guy from the...
You never seen the two of them in the same room at the same time. Same guy.
Because I thought the one guy was Deadpool and the other guy was just the Notebook guy. I could be wrong. I'm not a big movie guy.
What do I know? I'm in the wrestling business.
Yeah, there's concussions all around. Do you feel like that wrestling's ever going to be the same again? Like this is going to be a changing of the guard kind of thing? Like, because it feels like the whole world's changing. So, like, in the future, can you see wrestling ever going back to what it was? It'll be like a new version of wrestling.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. It's speaking of the talent, though. I mean, I think that a lot of the veterans, they might see this as kind of a breaking point where they're just going to call it quits. Say, you know, I had a good career and that's going to be it. And that'll open the door for a lot of the young guys. I mean, I see the young guys coming up. Like I said, I'm watching the BC shows. We got who I think is the number one he's not really new talent, but he's kind of like the up-and-coming superstar of Ontario. He's going to be a huge star in a few years. And I'm talking about Clay Wilson. You know, he's out in BC right now, and I mean, I bet you dollars to donuts that he's the best guy out there. You know, he just got to get his feet under him a little bit. I think he had a loss or two, but anyways, look out for Clay Wilson. He's fantastic. And then you know, you got guys like Jordy Taylor out there. You got guys like Brett Matthews. You got who's the champion there? Travis Williams. Travis Williams, Golden Boy. Yeah, man, these guys are big talents. Judas Icarus, Nolan James. You know, so you know, the doors are open for them. You know, so if guys are retiring because of this pandemic, then like I said, the spots are going to be there to be filled.
And like, I can't imagine you would ever watch the Weekly Whisper, but to be quite honest, I started my own kind of conspiracy thing where I was saying, who's behind Clay Wilson going to BC? And I even mentioned you because you know, you're well off financially, and like who is like sponsoring him. So I was like, oh, maybe Clay Wilson's joining the Temple, or maybe Tex has got something. Do you want to comment on that at all, or put those rumors to bed, or?
Well, legally I can't comment on any Temple business really, but I will fill you in on this. Clay Wilson, like I said, I think is the number one young guy in Ontario, and if he joined the Temple, I would be over the moon. It would be fantastic, right? Because the kid's got the skill set, he's got the look, he's got everything working for him. He knows exactly what to do in that ring and how to handle himself. He knows how to handle the crowd because they get under his skin all the time, and it's a skill. You know, people need to learn how to do that because sometimes the fans can rattle you, and next thing you know, you're on your back for the 1, 2, 3. But if you ask me, I think Clay Wilson's going to be probably the global champion, maybe even the grand champion, maybe even the women's champion. I don't know. It's crazy stuff going around there in BC. So, I don't know. What was your original question?
I know that you guys battle. Oh, because I was just saying, like, there's got to be someone behind it or something. So I
will say that I did not pay for Clay Wilson to fly out to British Columbia. You don't become the fourth richest man in Texas by just paying for people's flights to fly over the place, okay?
And also, I know back in the days when he was part of the United Front that you guys battled him a lot, so you would know if you had a first-hand look at what he's capable of.
I was ringside for a few of his matches, and that's why I got the utmost respect for Clay Wilson, you know? So everybody in BC, if you're sleeping on him, you know, you better watch out, because he's going to come knock your teeth out. And
speaking of, like, we mentioned the Temple here and there, has this whole break in wrestling brought you guys closer? Are you guys drifting apart? I know you said you can't really speak on the Temple, but like, have you still been in contact with Lenny and Jeff Black and CC Moss?
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, the Temple is not just professional wrestling. The Temple is it's a movement. I mean, people are coming together, and it just doesn't have to do with professional wrestling. So, I mean, I can fill you in on CC's whereabouts. CC, she was out in Europe for a little bit, and then she moved on to the Middle East. Now she's back in Europe. I believe she's in Madrid right now. She's doing a big photo shoot for a big fashion magazine there.
Oh, yeah.
Lenny and Jeff, we had them down at a private retreat in India. You know, it was a little bit of a meditation, yoga type thing, you know, keep their bodies pure and everything. And they're back now, and I just met them at one of my local favorite restaurants, which I'll get to later when we get to the top 5. But, yeah, you know, we're still close. We do a whole bunch of stuff. Matter of fact, before the whole pandemic thing, we all went out and did some karaoke, which was fantastic, right down in a bar in Waterloo. And after that, then I flew back to Amarillo, and then, as the story goes, I was off in where the hell did I go? Sweden, Finland. I was in Finland in the bunker, and yeah, you know, long story short, now I'm here with Elian Habanero on the Weekly Whisper.
I don't check
starring
the flight
Tex
logs.
Lexus.
I don't check the flight logs, so I just, whatever's on his social media, I do follow him, because I'm a news guy, right? I gotta be a journalist and find out what I can if anything transpires, but I feel I'll kick myself if I don't ask. What is Tex's go-to karaoke song when he does karaoke?
Oh man, I like everything. I can belt out a good version of the Scorpions' "Rock You Like a Hurricane."
Oh.
I can do a little Toby Keith for you if you want. Hell, I'm even pretty good at the Humpty Dance. So whatever I'm feeling that night, I'll do it. So anytime the karaoke joints open up, I'm giving everybody a personal invitation to come on down and sing some karaoke with Rich Uncle Tex.
Oh my. I had to ask. I feel like that it was handed to you on a silver platter. You got to take it, right? And speaking of, you were talking about some of the young talent or the talent out in BC, and just this Saturday, last Saturday, the 1 hour time limit draw job between Judas Icarus and global champion Travis Williams, and it's getting some good reviews. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure you check that out. It's on YouTube. They're gonna also put a version up on the not the one coming up this week, but next Wednesday's Adrenaline. And we have an exciting announcement to make as far as the new year. 365 is going to run a show January 1st, which is, I believe, is a Friday, New Year's Day 2021, and now they're also in talks to doing one the following day, the Saturday, the January 2nd. So keep your eye on the Whisper and all the social media, and you can look back at or look forward, look ahead to what's going to come out when matches get announced and all that stuff like that. Tex, what would you say, speaking of like announcements, I get like a memo from the current commissioner, Dr. Walls. Did you really like your time as a commissioner better, or do you like some of the matches you participated in as an actual in the ring talent, or do you like being the manager?
Okay, 1 second.
Oh, almost broke my table. What's in there?
Jacob, this new commissioner, Dr. Walls, is he a real doctor? That's what I thought. Habanero, Dr. Walls is a fraud. Now let me tell you, he ain't half the commissioner that I was. When I was the commissioner of PWA, I made great strides. We sold tickets through the roof, the 50-50 was through the roof, everything, money was flowing all over the place, and I don't see that Dr. Walls doing that, which, like I said, he's not even a doctor. But to answer your question, I really enjoyed to be the commissioner. You know, it was the power thing is, you know, I have a lot of power in my business world, so it just kind of, it worked for me. I knew exactly what to do with it. You know, maybe I abused it a little bit, maybe I didn't. That's for the courts to decide. But as far as being a manager, I mean, I love being a manager. I love going out there and, you know, helping out my talent in any way that I can, whether it's legal or illegal. But like I said, the courts will decide that as well. But yeah, you know, I like getting out there, getting in the action a little bit. You know, sometimes I take my licks a bit, but you know, it's worth it.
And it's fun too. Like you mentioned, Jacob does your social media. I see anything that's like currently happening, like in sports or politics. There's always a text meme to be shared. Like if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Like those kind of things, and always gives me a chuckle. And as far as we're talking wrestling, it's a wrestling show, so we're gonna look back and we're gonna look forward. Is there anything still like on your wrestling bucket list you wish to check off? Because you've done a lot in just such a short period of time.
Yeah, you know, I really have done a whole lot. I mean, I would love that. One thing I've never done, I've managed a lot of champions, you know, but I never managed the big champion, you know. So I believe that's the global championship in 365.
Right, and it
you
used
know,
to be the pure wrestling champion, right.
You know, if Travis Williams, you know, if he's got the stones that he says he's got, you know, he'll come on down here in Ontario, he'll put his belt up against one of the Temple members, maybe Jeff Black, maybe Lenny Lilac, because I guarantee you that kid's going to get squashed against either two of them. So, and either one of them, whatever I'm saying. But anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, Travis Williams, you come on down here, I got an open invitation. Like I said, I ain't paying for your flat, but when you come down here, I'll get Lenny Lilac to squash you, and then we'll have that global championship. Bucket list, check.
Okay, and like I know you kind of made your name in the Alpine Club, but then at the end there, Guelph was really becoming Temple country, and then we also did the Registry Theater in Kitchener. If you could do, what would be the next show that you would want to do? Do you like the Registry Theater? Would you want to do the Red Chevron where you guys were popping, or for nostalgia, do you miss the Alpine Club?
You know, it really doesn't matter. You know, like you said, we were popping the hell out of that Red Chevron. you know, the people in Guelph, they're crazy and they love the temple, and I love that. You know, they were singing the song and all that. But you know, like you said, I got some roots there at the Alpine Club, and you know, looking around, seeing the fans, whether they love me or hate me, I recognize them. You know, and I know them. I see their social media posts too, and don't think I don't recognize and don't realize what you're saying about me. But you know, so I like that, and also I love the Registry Theater. I thought that was a great setup, you know, with the great big grandstand looking down on the stage or on the ring. Plus downstairs amenities were second to none. I mean, there was, you know, that locker room. That's class. So if 365 comes calling and they say, "Hey, come do our show. We're at the Registry Theater." As a talent, you want to come down to do that show because, man, like I said, it's like a country club in there.
Awesome. And I know it's hard to get to you. Like, I had to go through a lot of channels to get you as a guest, or the 365 did. You know, you have your secretaries, there's a lot of people to get through to get text, so I wouldn't imagine, but I gotta put myself over here. Did you ever hear the Temple tribute song I made for the Temple?
I did, and I really enjoyed it. I really respected it. I thought that Elian Habanero, you got an old school rap style, which I like because I thought the rap industry died in the year 2000. But, you know, I really enjoyed it. I thought the lyrics were great. You were a very talented man.
Yes, thank you. I had to do it.
Now, your wrestling, on the other hand, little suspect, but very good rapper right here.
There we go. That's why I've transitioned into being the news guy. Tex says it hurts, but it's true at times. I was kind of on my last legs there. And as far as like the Temple, what was the plans as of I guess when we took a break? I'm stuttering all over here. It's Tex Lexus, for crying out loud. When they took a break, like, what was there any plans for the Temple that you're able to talk about as far as at that time that are not going to be able to happen? Like, as far as maybe new members, or you said a couple other promotions were reaching out. Like, is there anything that got canceled because of this whole worldwide pandemic, if you want to call it that? There.
Well, I mean, I can't go into the details, but you did touch on something that we did have some new members that were looking to get in on it, and you know, behind the scenes, they already are new members, so. You better watch out, you better not cry, because look out, the Temple's coming to town, whatever the song is. So anyways, you know, we had some new members, and like I said, other promotions were reaching out all the way up from Ottawa down to Windsor, you know, full Ontario. It was at least 5 different phone calls I had to field, some text messages, some emails, and they were all willing to pay top dollar, and I was willing to sell out and get out there and, you know, make some money for my family, the Temple. So, you know, other than that, that's what we were doing. We were rolling hard, and we had our eyes on the championship belts, man. We were going to get that live championship. We were going to get that global championship, tag teams. We were going to get CC with the women's belt, and that was the plan, and it all went to hell.
And I feel like a lot of those can still come to fruition, of course, but, and I know like you said earlier, you're not the 4th richest man in Texas because you blow money, but I know you're an investor, and I feel like this investment would pay off. Hear me out here. Get someone to record the version of the final countdown, the Temple version. I feel like
we're gonna have to contact Capitol Records. I believe they're the ones with the
Europe is the band,
rights,
right?
And yeah, talk to Europe. I'm pretty sure all those guys are about 80, 90 years old right now, so might be easy to convince. You know, give a little extra money for their pockets.
Yeah, royalties.
And yeah, you get a little royalties there for them, and yeah, it sounds like a great idea. I mean. I hear Pearl Jam's not doing much anymore, so maybe I'll call up my good friend Eddie Vedder and he can do it for us.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
And I might just have to try to stay in your good books to get that autograph from Eddie
I'll
Vedder.
get you an autograph, sure, why not?
And because you're being so kind, and like I know how important your time is, I don't want to keep you too long, and I really appreciate you coming, but if I could ask one more favor, you've mentioned it before, I always do a top 5 on the show, anything, but when it's the guests, I try and let them take over that. Do you have anything in mind you could do for it, or?
Well, yeah, sure. You know, this is a little bit off topic from the wrestling business, but you know, it does kind of weigh in with the whole pandemic, and you know, the way this city of Kitchener, you know, it's pretty desolate to begin with. So we like to support the local people, not just give the money to the big corporations. So why don't I do a top 5 list of the 5 restaurants or eating places that I like to come to when I come to Kitchener?
Hey man, if you're getting the rub from Tex, I'm going to write this down. If you're willing to give people the Tex stamp of approval, I can't imagine, and then also maybe possible sponsors down the road for wrestling. So here we go.
All right. Well, you know, I'll tell you, I'll be real quick with this. So number 5 is there's a place up in Waterloo. It's called Bao Sandwiches. Now they have these little, I think they're Vietnamese or Korean kind of fusion sandwiches on these little soft pita type things, which are absolutely delicious.
They're almost like steamed, right?
Yeah, steamed, exactly.
I've seen them, yeah.
And plus you can get a little bit of ice cream put in one of those things for dessert, and it's fantastic. Which brings me to number 4. The ice cream that they use at that place is from another place in Waterloo called For All Ice Cream. Little local, organic, real nice, ice cream flavors. They have seasonal stuff, and I believe they have one up in Waterloo. There was one down in Kitchener. I don't know, but look them up on the social media. You can find out where that is. Let me see. Number 3. When everybody knows I like a good cup of coffee. So when I'm in town, I like to head down to Victoria Street, down to Smile Taggart Coffee. It's right near the train station. You get down there, you get yourself an espresso, you can get a scone or something, or a brownie. It's very delicious stuff. And as far as coffee goes, it's top notch. There's nothing better in this city that I've ever found. So, plus, I believe they do have an alcohol thing there too, so you can get a beer or bourbon or something, whatever you want.
Smile Tiger.
Smile Tiger. It's very delicious. Okay, well, number 2. Everybody knows I love my barbecue, and there's no better place in Kitchener to barbecue than the Lancaster Smokehouse. Now, you know where the Alpine Club is. It's just down the road. Now you head up in there, you get yourself a meat platter, or you get yourself some ribs or some brisket or whatever. The brisket is top notch. There's nothing better this side of Texas for that stuff. So, Lancaster Smokehouse comes in at number 2. And anybody who knows me knows what number 1 is going to be.
Oh yeah.
It's the very best veal parmesan sandwich you'll ever eat in the world. And trust me, this is what I get every place I go in the world. And there's nothing better than Nostra Cucina. It's a little sandwich place down on Cortland Avenue across from the Subaru dealership. If you don't know where it is, you better get there. They got limited hours, but this sandwich will knock your socks off. Trust me, it's the greatest thing you'll ever eat in the world. If you don't like it, there might be something wrong with you. So head on down to Nostra Cucina, tell them Tex sent you, and they'll treat you like royalty.
And I can only imagine if they find out that Tex has visited their establishment, there'll be a picture of him up there. And don't crowd him. We got to keep social distancing so we can get wrestling back. So if you see Tex at any of these fine establishments, keep your distance, but maybe give him a wave or show your respect or throw up the temple or whatever.
Yeah, throw the temple up. Don't crowd me, okay? We're still in a pandemic here, so keep your distance, please.
And do you want any closing statements or thoughts or anything you want to say out to all the Tex and the Temple fans that are, miss seeing you, like, at the live shows and stuff like that you could maybe... Anything you want to say.
Hey, man, I know the people are missing me because I get messages every day, emails, text messages, phone calls, voicemails, all this stuff from fans saying, Tex, we want to talk to you. We want to seem important. You can talk to a big celebrity like you. But don't worry. I see your messages. I try to reply as much as I can. And just as a final thought, let's get this pandemic over, people. Let's stay safe. Everybody social distance, Be cool. Elian and I have both been tested, so this is all good.
He paid for the test.
Yeah, I did. I'm still the 4th richest man in Texas. The test doesn't cost that much. But, everybody, let's get a show on, man, because, I know if I'm itching for it, I know you fans who are crazy for wrestling are itching for it too. So let's get these doors open and let's fill up the Alpine Club, the Red Shirters. Hell, man, Temple's so big we're going to get the Kitchener Auditorium once in a while.
Yes, the odd. And I'm just so grateful to have you here, Tex. I know how busy of a man you are, but I really appreciate it.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
And not to take anything against your wrestling. I said, yeah, you're wrestling this and that.
Yeah.
But Elian Habanero 15 years ago was, holy crap, top notch. Check out his stuff on YouTube because this kid was crazy, man. Crazy.
Yeah, and I'm just happy to be still a part of something that I love so much. And,
I'm happy you can even walk.
Yeah.
And surprised.
And talking wrestling, I'm still in love with wrestling since the day I fell in love with it, and talking with such a great wrestling talent, I guess you could call him, a Tex, because he does a little bit of everything. The only thing I could ask, please, if you enjoyed this episode or any of the episodes, make sure you like, or you get a leg drop, comment, or you get a clothesline, subscribe, or you get a suplex, and share, or you get a sleeper. That's all for episode 46 of The Weekly Whisper with my special guest, Tex Lexus. I'm your host, Elian Habanero. I love wrestling. Cuba!